People are often judged by appearances, but when someone has a goal, anything is possible. This happened to Hugo, who always dreamed of becoming a doctor. He lived with his mother in very poor conditions and had no money for school. In order to gain medical experience, he worked nights part-time at a local hospital and spent his days working at a hardware store in order to save money for his education. Hugo had another dream, which he only shared with his mother. He dreamed of living in a large house with lots of land and a swimming pool. Hugo's mother was proud of her son for having such goals and sincerely believed that he would one day fulfill all his plans. 8 years passed in this way. Hugo worked 2 jobs, raised money for his education, and went to school to become a doctor. But one day, he saw an advertisement in the newspaper for an old, dilapidated house on a large plot of land for sale. The cost was only $10,000, so he decided to buy it and immediately called the owner to set up a meeting. Hugo had only ever told his mother about his dream to own a large house, but he was so excited about this sale that he decided to share his joy with a young nurse named Jessica, whom he worked with at the hospital. He liked her and hoped that she would be as excited as he was, but she only laughed at him. How could such a poor student have such lofty goals? He would never have enough money to restore it, and he would continue to live in shambles. Hugo was so upset by this that he almost canceled the meeting with the owner of the house. But after thinking about it a while longer, he decided that he should at least take a look. So the next day, he arrived at the address and was stunned. This was the site of his dreams. There was so much space that he could install several pools. The house needed a lot of work, but Hugo was confident he could restore it. Without hesitation, he decided to buy the house. Between his 2 jobs and his studies, Hugo spent all his free time making improvements to the house bit by bit. He started by clearing the yard of old trees, raking the rubbish into one large pile and hiring someone to haul it all away. After the garden was cleared away, he began to dismantle the house so he could start from scratch. Hugo pulled up floorboards one by one, removing the rotten wood and discarding it outside. Having done this, he realized there was a void under the house. Thinking it was a basement, Hugo looked into the gap with a flashlight and discovered an entire room under the floor, but there was no entrance to it except through the hole he had created. Over the next week, Hugo continued to make the hole larger so that he could get to the mysterious room. What he found there completely turned his life upside down. He discovered an old bed, a table, and shelves along the wall. On one of the shelves, there was a box, and when he opened the box, he was stunned to find huge bundles of money. Hugo could not believe his eyes. Where did this treasure come from? On the old table, he found a sealed envelope. Hugo immediately opened it and read the following: "I am the owner of this house, living out my last days. I love this house very much. It was built by my great-grandfather, then my grandfather. I looked after it as much as I could, but I imagine that my children and grandchildren will not want to restore and take care of this house. They will likely sell it for a penny, though I always dreamed that this house would have an appreciative owner. If someone is reading this letter now, it means that he was engaged in major repairs of the house since he found this secret room. I leave all my fortune to the one who undertakes the restoration of this house. This money should be more than enough for a grand renovation. Please use it wisely." Hugo held the letter in his hands and reread it several times. He could not believe that this was really happening to him. When he finally came to his senses, he firmly decided to fulfill the last will of the owner of this house and restore it as it was, and even better. He managed to convert the old treasure into modern money, and it turned out to be a fortune. Then the real work began. First of all, he completely restored the house according to the drawings that he found in that room. Then he tidied up the garden and built the pool of his dreams. When the house was completed, Hugo took his mother to live with him there. Of course, word quickly spread about this amazing renovation. The hospital nurse who first laughed at Hugo now realized what she had missed out on. She asked to visit, and out of politeness he agreed, but when she began to flirt with him, he asked her to leave. He knew what she was after. The money Hugo found in the house completely covered the cost of the restoration, so he was able to spend the rest of his savings on his education, finally becoming a doctor and obtaining a high-paying job. This is how fate helped one young man fulfill all his desires. But without his personal work ethic and perseverance, none of it would have happened. If you enjoyed the story, please like this video, write your comments, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to click on the bell icon so you do not miss our new videos.